Burst pipes in Shaokai-wan triggers large-scale water shortage. Secretary for Development says government looking to step up involvement in building renovations. Good evening. Welcome to TVB News. A water pipe burst near Shaokai-wan Road's tram line, resulting in a large-scale water supply cut throughout Shaokai-wan and Sai Wan Ho on Hong Kong Island. Several buildings continued to experience disruption in drinking water that lasted for more than 12 hours, affecting more than 10,000 households. Water supply is expected to resume at 6 a.m. tomorrow. This as Timothy Lee was on site when Water Supplies Department vehicles were arranged to provide the local community with temporary water relief.
Residents in Shaokai-wan woke up at around 6 a.m. to the combined horrors of blistering weather conditions and the large-scale disruption of water supply in the area. On Kanwa Street, Water Supplies Department vehicles were arranged to provide temporary water relief to the affected community. Care teams were also deployed on site to assist residents in need. Nearby restaurants were forced to close, with the main task of their staff today being to fetch drinking water. This woman says there were signs of a water supply cut early in the morning, adding that the water flow was exceptionally slow at around 7 to 8 a.m. By the afternoon, the Water Supplies Department deployed at least 12 water wagons, 100 water tanks, and arranged 10,000 water bottles to be brought to the area. Water bags were also handed out to local residents, with queues of people stretching all the way to Shaokai-wan Main Street East. This woman says she doesn't have a single drop of water left back home and desperately hopes the water situation could soon be fixed. While this woman says she never experienced water supply disruption in all her 25 years of living in Shaokai-wan. As you can see behind me, scores of Water Supplies Department staff have been deployed to Shaokai-wan this afternoon to alleviate local residents' water concerns. The department said each resident is permitted to take 1 to 2 bottles of water, but stressed exceptions could be made for extraordinary circumstances. This as the water disruption area stretches from Minghua Daiha on Akungam Road to Felicity Garden on Taiwan Street, with more than 10,000 households being affected. The Water Supplies Department emphasizes the disruption issue lies with the age of the district's water pipes.
Initially, we think that because the pipe concerned is a cast iron pipe, and the cast iron pipe that is old material, have been used for many years. So when due to the aging, the material become brittle. And so it bursts, it will not provide any initial sign. So I think this is the difficulty that we need to handle. In the next few years, we will replace 8 kilometers of these kind of pipes all over the district.
Meanwhile, the Water Supplies Department notes it will continue to work with the Eastern District Office and care teams to assist those with particular needs, including the elderly and business owners. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
The government is reforming the tendering procedure for building maintenance and is looking to step up supervision and take on a role in the assessment stage. This, according to Secretary for Development Bernadette Lin, who shared her thoughts on the TVB program. She says the smart tender procedure is being revamped and may consider renaming it to better reflect what would be a broadened scope of the government's role. Alina Wang has more.
The Wang Fuk Court fire has exposed multiple problems regarding building renovations. To address issues in the current system, the government is reforming smart tender, the tendering procedure for building maintenance, but has twice postponed the announcement of details. Speaking on a TVB program, Secretary for Development Bernadette Lin says time is needed to put together a list of criteria for engineering consultants and contractors to fulfill in order for them to be put on a pre-approved list from which owners can make their selections. She says the criteria will put more weight on past violations related to safety and integrity, while labor disputes, for example, may not be a key consideration. Under this new smart tender process, Lin says the Urban Renewal Authority is considering taking on the role of reviewing building inspection reports in addition to evaluating tenders, to ensure the scope of renovations in such tenders accurately reflects the work required. Lin says as the government widens its scope not only to better monitor renovations, but to clamp down with penalties that will deter offenders, the smart tender process may well need to be renamed to reflect these changes. She furthers the building department is planning to participate in every project. As for the independent checking unit involved in the Wang Fuk Court incident and division of responsibilities going forward, she says a decision will come down after the committee submits their report. She believes the revised scheme will launch in the fourth quarter, and the formulation is now in its final stages, and LegCo may be required to hold summer sessions to discuss details. Meanwhile, the government is currently reviewing tender submissions for the Hongshui-Kiel area under the Northern Metropolis, which would be developed into an integrated university town. Lin says accelerated land sales will not affect market absorption, since the government will coordinate internally to stagger launches and ensure market transparency. Alina Wang, TVB News.
A special general meeting for Wang Fuk Court homeowners was held by the residence's appointed administrators, Hopon Management. The meeting was held across 4 venues, including Tai Po, Kai Tak, Tin Shui Wai and Kellett Bay. Eva Khan has more details.
The meeting was arranged after many owners requested to know the status of their major repair fee refunds. They also provided updates on construction work and estate insurance. About 230 people showed up to the Tai Po meeting venue. By noon, over 28% of owners, a total of 568 people, attended the meeting across 4 venues. Mr. Hearn says he hopes Hop-On handles this issue with a more humane approach, as those who have passed in the disaster also deserve an explanation. He also says residents aren't allowed to take away their belongings, and even if they did, there are no elevators to help. This former resident came on behalf of her neighbors as well, wanting to know how far their rights go and how compensation will be calculated. Like Mr. Hearn, she also wants to know when they will be able to retrieve their belongings, as she has already signed the letter of acceptance to sell her flat to the government. Mr. Liu had paid more than $100,000 and has yet to be refunded the entire amount. He believes a full refund is unlikely. Despite the long meeting, many residents left the venue even more dissatisfied, feeling that their questions had not been answered. Mr. Chan left the venue early as he found the meeting pointless. He says residents found errors in both Chinese and English versions of the audit report, as well as errors in dates. He finds these to be unacceptable careless mistakes. Mr. Liu, who we spoke to earlier, also found the meeting to be a waste of breath, saying no question was truly being answered. The next owners' meeting is to be held 2 months later, but he worries whether residents will still be homeowners by then. Owners were mainly told to look for their household-assigned social worker even when their situation was not relevant to the scheme, leading to feel like they were being toyed with. But there were some that remain hopeful. Mr. Law says this is the first step and he looks forward to the next meeting, adding that everyone was very courteous. He expects the government will quickly resolve the issue. As for now, everyone is waiting for the hearing report. At the meeting, Hop-On reported that as of July 15th, a total of 1,732 refund checks had been issued, involving over $110 million. They are continuing to contact the remaining owners for collection through the One Household, One Social Worker scheme or district council members. With former homeowners not having a say in contract alterations, most here are hoping to see a fair outcome reached, keeping the victims and losses in mind. Hiba Khan, TVB News.
The latest round of Israeli strikes in Gaza City kills at least 9 Palestinians, including 3 children, hospital officials say. A strike on an apartment in the Nasser neighborhood Saturday killed at least 5 people, including children between the ages of 8 and 18. 6 other people were wounded, including 4 children. Another Israeli strike hit a group of people in the Zaytun neighborhood, killing 4 and wounding another critically. health officials say. In both instances, the Israeli military says it was targeting Hamas in the area. Palestinians have reported an increase in the scale of Israeli strikes across the enclave over the past few days. Hamas and Israel have traded accusations of violating the ceasefire since a ceasefire in October last year. And still ahead, Ontario Premier says Trump blaming Canada for wildfire smoke is shameful. And LegCo members head to Beijing to take part in National Affairs study visit. Welcome back. Moscow has unleashed another round of ballistic missile attacks on Ukraine in the early hours of Sunday, in the wake of Ukraine's major drone strikes against Russian cities that killed at least 9 people. Meanwhile, thousands of people took to the streets in Kiev for the third day to decry the surprise dismissal of a Ukrainian defense minister. The overnight Russian air raid on the Ukrainian capital of Kiev that involved 41 missiles and 125 attack drones resulted in at least 1 fatality. Around 16 others were injured. Blasts echoed across the city from 1:30 a.m. local time, damaging residential buildings, office and industrial sites and a dormitory, according to Ukraine's state emergency. Russia's defense ministry claimed they started a range of military-related sites, including plants producing Flamingo drones and Neptune-guided missiles, as well as a postal terminal. Kiev firefighters raced to contain the flames sparked by the attacks in Solomyansky, Desnyansky and Dnipro districts. 4 residents were pulled from a burning private home in Svientoshinsky, while some others were rescued from a 3-story building on fire in the Shevchenkovsky district. Earlier, President Volodymyr Zelensky remarked that Ukrainian forces have successfully struck targets near Moscow and in Tambov region that were elements of Russian logistics. Meanwhile, thousands of Ukrainians swarmed the streets on Saturday to protest against Zelensky's dismissal of the popular defense minister, Mikhailo Fedorov. Some were chanting, "A government is people," and "Fedorov is our hope," as they called for a more modern approach to warfare. Fedorov, the 35-year-old tech wizard who has been partly credited with Ukraine's war with Russia, was not reappointed in the recent government reshuffle. Zelensky said he had to step in since the rift between Fedorov and Commander-in-Chief Alexander Syrskyi, noting he had asked Yevhen Kamara, acting head of the state security service, to take over the defense minister's duty for now. Smoke from Canada's wildfires that engulfed the U.S. Northeast in haze is expected to clear from the New Jersey area in time for the World Cup final on Sunday. This as Ontario Premier Doug Ford said Saturday that his province has 191 active wildfires with 73 under control. Tracy Furness has more.
At a press briefing in Thunder Bay, Canada Saturday, Premier of Ontario Doug Ford said 10 communities in the province had evacuated due to the forest fires.
As of this morning, 10 communities have been evacuated to municipalities across the province, and 3 are still preparing or under warning or potential evacuation. To support evacuation efforts, we have opened provincially led reception centers, for example, right here in Thunder Bay.
He went on to address US President Donald Trump's social media comments blaming Canada for its forest management and threatening tariffs. He reminded the US how they helped them during the LA fires.
I find it a shame the administration in the US and Congress people writing these letters and blaming us and so on and so forth. They have a very short memory. We had the water bombers, everyone ready, going over to California. It was last year. We sent down hydro linemen down to the Carolinas and Georgia to help out. That's what neighbors do, right? You don't get on and start threatening and criticizing, because guess what? One day it's going to be your turn, and we're going to be down there without hesitation to support our neighbors, which we should be.
Heavy pungent wildfire smoke darkened skies over the US Capitol Friday, with smoggy air over the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument, and tourists walking by the south side of the White House under grey skies. But after days of soupy grey skies over New York City, skies are now clear as excitement mounts on the streets ahead of the World Cup final on Sunday between Argentina and Spain.
Okay, it's the Big Apple, the best city, with this amazing game tomorrow. The final here, it has more special because New York is a city that has so much energy, happiness, and tomorrow will be amazing.
Tracy Furness, TVB News.
The Jingye Group, headquartered in Hebei province, demands Britain to fully compensate the company for all investment losses arising from its decision to nationalise British Steel. The move comes after the UK announced taking operational control of the loss-making British Steel on national security grounds that stripped the Chinese private steelmaker of ownership of the firm it acquired in 2020. Jingye says in a statement Sunday that the nationalisation has disregarded dedicated ongoing investment and significant contributions, spooked international investors and tarnished the credibility of the British government. According to the Chinese group, it has injected funds that created and supported tens of thousands of jobs locally over the past 5 years and returned British Steel to profitability through internal restructuring and operational improvements. It says it has initiated negotiation procedures reserving all rights, including to international arbitration. Authorities in Beijing say they would closely monitor the developments and pledge to take appropriate measures to safeguard legitimate rights and interests if warranted. Legislative Council members depart for Beijing to take part in the National Affairs study visit. President of the Legislative Council, Starry Lee, says the visit will be helpful for the development of the northern metropolis. Alina Wang reports.
89 Legislative Council members departed for Beijing this morning to attend the week-long National Affairs study visit, marking the first time since Hong Kong's reunification that all legislators have traveled for such a visit. The members will visit key institutions, such as the Hong Kong and Macau Work Office of the CPC Central Committee, and attend seminars to exchange views with experts. The topics will cover the country's guiding principles, the upcoming 5-year plan, international relations, national security, and legal system. They will also take part in field visits in areas including new quality productive forces, artificial intelligence, aerospace, and information technology applications. They are planning to learn about the CPC's current measures in governance, public service, and cultural conservation. Starry Lee, president of the Legislative Council, considers the visit of major significance. She says with a rich itinerary, it will be helpful for the development of the northern metropolis and in preparing Hong Kong's first 5-year plan. She also notes the Legislative Council is hoping to align with the nation's 15th 5-year plan to better serve the country's overall development, and this visit will lay a solid foundation for these efforts. Some legislators also believe this visit is a rare opportunity to strengthen their teamwork and enhance their ability to perform their duties. After arriving in Beijing, the legislators headed to the National Academy of Governance for a closed-loop study and will return to Hong Kong on Saturday. Alina Wang, TVB News.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.